Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to the Missy Money channel. I'm Missy, I'm a mom of 3 and the owner of Missy Money, a small business that specializes in minimalist and aesthetic cash stuffing essentials to help inspire and motivate you on your personal finance and budgeting journey. Today I'm going to be doing my unstuffing for the month of November, showing you how I reconcile for credit and debit card transactions within the cash stuffing system. So if you're interested in learning more, stay tuned. Alright guys, this is my unstuffing for the month of November, and this is where I'm going to reconcile for my credit and debit card transactions over the past 4 weeks. Before I dive in, I just want to quickly explain my system and how I use cards within the cash stuffing system. I personally use the spent envelope method, and so I have an envelope, it's literally titled spent. I keep it in the back of my wallet, so I carry it around with me most days. And when I make a transaction, if I am making a transaction tied to one of my variable expenses, which are my envelopes that I keep in my wallet, I will go ahead and move that cash over right away. So let's say I'm at the grocery store, for some reason I don't want to spend cash, I just want to quickly, use my card for convenience, and it's a $20 purchase. I would come into my groceries envelope and I would move $20 from my groceries envelope all the way back into my spent envelope. By moving that cash, I am using the cash equivalent of that card purchase, and so I am appropriately kind of taking into account this purchase, and I know that I have $20 fewer to spend on groceries based on what's left in my groceries envelope after that purchase. But it gives me the flexibility to use the card if I'd prefer to do that. Now, there are some expenses that you might want to put on your card that you are not able to move the money from an envelope right away. So let's say that you spend something in a sinking fund envelope and you don't have those envelopes handy. You're making this purchase while you're out of the home and you keep your sinking funds binders at home, which is what I personally do. In that case, what I would do is I would mark that purchase down on my spent envelope expense tracker. I've actually got 2 because this was a little bit of a heftier spend month on my cards, but I would just mark down that purchase. I mark down the date I made the purchase, the category that I need to pull those funds from, and the amount of my purchase. And I always round my purchases up to the nearest $5. That just helps me keep singles out of my system and helps keep it easier. So so that's how you use kind of the tracker, and then every so often you can go through and pull the money that you need to for those expenses. I do that process every 2 weeks. I used to do it weekly, and I do recommend you do it more frequently if you are a newer cash stuffer, but once you kind of get used to the system, if you want to make it a little bit less frequent, you can feel free to do that. So because I do an unstuffing every 2 weeks, in this video I'm going to be unstuffing for weeks 3 and 4. But before I do that, I am going to need to jump back and show you my unstuffing from weeks 1 to 2. So I will go ahead and start with that. Then we will come back to my unstuffing for weeks 3 and 4, count up all of those funds, make sure that they match what I expected them to match in my spent envelope, and talk about how I pay off my cards. But before that, let's jump back to weeks 1 and 2. All right, guys, weeks 1 and 2 unstuffing. So let's go ahead and see what we've got to reconcile here. I'm going to flip back to my spent envelope. And there were some expenses that I pulled just directly, if they were variable expenses, from my wallet and just pull them back into my spent envelope. So you can see that I've got some cash in here already, but we will go ahead and go through some of the other expenses that I need to reconcile for. So I know that I've got a couple in my long-term sinking fund binder. So let's go ahead and start with that one. I'm going to flip back to St. Jude here because I did make my October contribution for that, so I can go ahead, that donation for St. Jude Research Hospital. So I will go ahead and pull out 50 for that. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, perfect. And then the 10s that I have left over are from my first and second week contribution within November. I won't make that donation until the end of the month, so I can keep that in there for that. So I can go ahead and mark that one off. And then I think there was just one more in this one for subscriptions. We renewed our ring subscription, so I need to account for that, and it is $145. I have that in cash. I've got 150, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that over, and then I'll just need to find a 5 to pull back, and that will be it for subscriptions for that one. And just a quick scan. Oh, home. I lied. I had one more. Home was a $50 transaction. So that will be it for home. You can check that one off. And then that is it for this binder. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back. We'll grab our short-term sinking funds because the bulk of the remaining transactions are in short-term sinking funds. So we can just go in order here maybe and start with shopping. So shopping, I think I've got $25 plus 20, so 45, 75. Let's see if that's it. Yep, $75 from shopping. So I've got, I'm just going to pull over the 100 and then I'll pull back a 20 and a 5. So that'll be it for shopping. And that will take care. Whoa, I just flung the cap to that pen. I'm gonna have to find that. Give me 1 second. Oh, just right here. Okay, so that took care of those transactions. Clothing, I think I had 2 because I went and got some clothes for the kids. I had 2 for a total of $150. I'll be able to do that exactly. So we'll just pull all of that over. All right, so check and check on that. Date night, nothing. Family fun, $140, which again, I'll be able to do exactly. So we'll pull that over. Good on that one. Self-care, I had 1 for $80, and I do have that. So I'll go ahead and pull that over. That just leaves $20 in self-care, so we'll need to start building that one back up. Let's see, Lola and Luna, nothing. Gifts, I just had a $15 transaction. I don't have 15, but I have a 20, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the 20 over. And then we'll keep an eye out for a 5. There's one. $5 to pull back. All right. And then school. School, I need $85. So I don't have that, but I have 90. So again, I'm just going to come in here and look for a 5 to pull back. All right, and then that should be it in the short-term sinking funds. And then my last one will actually be my first Christmas purchase. So I am going to hop over here into my Christmas savings challenge. And I had a $90 purchase, which I think I've got in cash without using my placeholder bill. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Just gonna pull 10 back. And if you keep track of your Christmas expenses, you could, if you wanted to, go ahead and put anything you spend from your savings challenge, you could mark just right on the back. Hello. Mark right on the back of your tracker. I keep my Christmas lists and spending in a separate, kind of on a separate notebook. So I'll just keep track of it there. But if you are the type of person that likes to keep it kind of all in one place on your savings challenge, you could write it down there. But that is my first Christmas purchase, which is super exciting. So that is it from the holiday savings challenge. And that's it for this unstuffing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this back here. Flip it over to be ready for my next expenses for these next couple of weeks. And then At the end of the month, I will do my unstuffing from weeks 3 and 4 and then count it all up and do my reconciliation. But for now, we are all set for my wallet for the next couple of weeks. All right, guys, weeks 3 and 4 unstuffing. So let's go ahead and see what we have got here. I think we've got quite a few transactions that I need to reconcile, and I'm glad we are at the end of the month because my spent envelope was getting a little bit full here. So I'm just going to go ahead and move my wallet to the side in case I need to make change for myself. And then it looks like I am starting out here with my short-term sinking funds. So I will just go in order here because I think I've got quite a few expenses from a few of these envelopes. So let me pull out my pen. Let's start with shopping. So shopping, it looks like I have got, I'm making sure I don't have anything on that side, so it's just going to be these expenses on these two cards. So shopping, I have got a $30, $40, so $70, and it looks like that's it. So I will go ahead and pull $70. I've got that exactly, so I'll go ahead and pull that to the side. And we can mark off that one and that one. Let's keep that pen open. Clothing, I had a $110 and a $60. So I will need $170. We'll see if I've got that. I don't know if I do. I think I'm going to be pretty short, so we're going to have to go into a couple other categories probably to make up for this. So let's see what I have. Like I said, I need 170, so I've got 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 85. Need to do some math. So I'll need another $85. So I'm going to go ahead and put this 85 over there, and then let's come back to oops and see if we've got 85 in here. I will have 85 in here. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and take this 100 over, and then I'm going to pull a 10 and a 5 back. And that will account for my additional $85 and still leaves me with some money in oops, which is great. Okay, so clothing, check and check. All right, let's go back. Date night, we have not spent. We really need to. Okay, family fun. Family fun, it looks like I have got a $45 expense and a $65 expense. So I'm going to need $110. I do have that exactly, so I'll just go ahead and move that over. And family fun is a little bit low now too. All right, so check on that one. And then self-care, I think I had at least one. I think this was for haircuts for the kiddos. So self-care is $60. I have exactly $60, so that worked out well. All right, check on that. Lola and Luna, I don't think I have anything. Nope. Gifts, I did. I have got a $40 and a $60, so $100. Let's see if I've got that. I don't know if I do. 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100. And gifts is left with 5. Man, we really need to build these back up. Definitely was a higher spend month. All right, let's cross that one off, check that one off. All right, and then school, it looks like I've got 40, 40, and 40, so $120. I don't have that, but I have 150, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that over, and then I'll need a 10 and a 20 back over here. All right, and that is for Mav's OT that he does, so we will check those off. Perfect. And then that is it for my short-term sinking funds. And so this tracker is completely checked off, and then this tracker just has one left. It's from my holiday savings challenge. So let's pull out Thanksgiving here, and I'm going to pop out this whole tracker because we're going to move it to the back here after I account for this. So my Thanksgiving spending, it was fully funded at $250. I spent $210. So I'm going to put all $250 over here. and then pull $40 back, and we'll decide what we're going to do with that extra $40 that I did not spend. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a new Thanksgiving tracker for now, but I will tell you that I updated the Holiday Savings Challenge, and so I cannot remember if this is one of the trackers. It did, actually. I do remember. I think this is one of the trackers that changed. So once I flip out my system, I'm going to update the trackers that did change with the new holiday set, but we'll just put that in there for now in case I contribute anything to it between now and then. But now I could, because I had extra money, I had $40 left that I did not spend. In some cases, I might just go ahead and put that towards next year's Thanksgiving Savings Challenge. But in this case, I think I'm going to go ahead and see what challenges are upcoming that are not yet fully funded and put it towards that. So the big game is $50 a symbol, so I don't have enough to do that one. Valentine's Day and St. Patty's Day I like using for singles, so I'm not going to do that one. Let's go ahead and put $40 towards Easter. That will give me a little bit of a jump on this one. And that's kind of the next, not big challenge in terms of how much we save, but kind of the next one that we can get a little chunk done here. Easter is another tracker that changed a little bit and went from these little eggies to this adorable little bunny. I'm super excited about that one. I'm excited for all the new updates and just the new savings challenges that I'm going to be doing in 2026. I'm kind of changing up my system a little bit. So I'll do a little bit of I'll film when I kind of do my whole 2026 system setup so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But we went ahead and put that extra $40 that was unspent from Thanksgiving into Easter. So now we're about almost halfway through that challenge, which is great. So that is it for that one. I can kind of check that one off. And then we are going to need to get into my reconciliation. So let me pull my cash holder on the screen here because I am going to need that as we start to do this count. I'm going to put my wallet aside for the moment, and the first thing that I am going to need to do is actually add up all of my transactions here to see how much I should have in this stack. So please give me a minute and I will go ahead and do that and come back and tell you how much I'm expecting to have here. All right, guys, so my grand total that I'm expecting to have in this pile based on what I've pulled over the course of 4 weeks is $2,570, which is a bit higher than my typical spend for not having a ton of one-off expenses. So the only thing in there that was that out of the ordinary was Thanksgiving. Normally I'm right around that $2,000 mark. So it just was a little bit of a higher spend month, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens. But I'm going to go ahead and first organize this, and then we're going to give it a count and see if it matches that total that we are expecting. So let's go ahead and get this into piles. All right, guys, and now we can go ahead and give this all a count and see if we have got what we expect, which again is $2,570. As I get piles of 1,000, I'm going to go ahead and pop it into my cash tray here. So 100, 200, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000. That was a quick $1,000. All right. Next, 100, 50, 200, 50, 300, 50, 400, 20, 40, 60, 80, 500, 20, 40, 60, 80, 600, 20, 40, 60, 80, 700, 20, 40, 60, 80, 800, 20, 40, 60, 80, 900, 20, 40, 60, 80, $1,000. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 3, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 400, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 500, 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Perfect. So again, that was $2,570. That's what I expected to have in that pile. Now, looking at my credit card balance for what is currently on my card, I did not have any debit card purchases. I tend to use my credit card if I have the choice between the two because I get some points on it. But either way, you can use a debit card or a credit card. I'll link a video in the description of this video in case you want to know more about the differences between those two, or how you kind of handle those purchases differently, because they're a bit different in terms of your reconciliation. But anyway, I have used exclusively my card for this month, and my current card balance is $2,475.20. So a bit less than what I've gotten here. Again, that's completely driven by me rounding up each of my expenses that I track to the nearest $5. And so again, that was $2,570. That's what I expected to have in that pile. Now, looking at my credit card balance for what is currently on my card, I've created a little bit of a buffer between the cash that I have here and the cash that I will need to pay off my credit card. But what I'll go ahead and do is deposit this all into the bank. I will use it to pay off my card, and then that buffer that I built this month by saving more or pulling more cash than what I needed, I will just continue to keep in the bank. And what I do is at the very end of the year, I take that entire buffer that I have made over the course of 12 months of unstuffings, and I give myself a little bonus cash stuffing with those funds. So it's a nice way to kind of start the year with a little bit of an extra stuffing, which just kind of gives you a jump start on some of your goals for the next year. So I always like that one. I usually will do that in early January, do that kind of bonus stuffing with that buffer. So today was actually the first day of the 12 Days of Christmas sale. So I am kind of in the middle of that sale, middle of prepping that sale and seeing your orders come in. I'm so excited for you. By the time you see this video, we will be a couple days into the sale. And just so you know, I am posting a video that kind of goes over every 3 days of the sale. So you can kind of see what's coming and prepare to know if you need anything during any of those upcoming days. I've already posted the video for days 1 through 3. I will shortly be posting the video for days 4 through 6, and then we'll just go on and on until the sale is over. But hope that you guys are excited about not only the sale, but the new products that are dropping throughout the days of the sale. So I've been doing in the videos, I've been doing kind of a little bit of recap of the new products as well. So super excited for you to see those. But just want to thank you as always for your support, not only on this channel, but in the store in particular, and for this sale in particular. It's been an awesome day one, and I'm super excited for you all to get your goodies for this season. And I'm really excited to hopefully get set up for 2026 with you, because I am just really excited about my goals for 2026 and really excited to share them in a few weeks. So that is it for this video. Like I said, if you are on your own personal finance journey, I just want to take a moment to wish you a simple budget, a calm mind, and a happy life. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one, which will be my first cash stuffing for the month of December. So we'll see you soon.